Here's part two of how to automate your growth. It's nice to be in charge of your business. It's nice to know that you don't have to, in a world full of uncertainty, you can take charge of that thing and put things in place that while you don't know exactly the results that are going to come in, you can control the range and know that that range is going to go up because of things you're doing. Here's part two.
So here we start, David, inside, this is your base shop. You're going to go out here and you're going to start growing, and you want to max out on recruiting, because that gives you the maximum number of management candidates for the year. Does that communicate?
Yes, it does.
Does it? So what you're going to do is, it makes it very simple. How can you do it? And since this is number one, the number one thing to me is the thing that covers a whole lot of sins. You won't be perfect in management. Your people won't be perfect in management. You'll have things, you'll have meteors fall out of the sky and destroy all your plans. You'll have all kinds of negative surprises. But if you keep your focus on recruiting growth, not just recruiting. See, this is where people get beat. They grow for, we focus on, no, you got to focus on recruiting growth, not just recruiting. You did 10, you got to make up your mind that that's fantastic, we're happy, but we can never do 10, as few as 10 the rest of our life, because we did 10, and now we got 10 more on board. To add to the people who helped us get that 10, there's no way we should do less than 10 next month. We got to do more than that. And so you get up there, you take what you could get, and it doesn't matter what you get as long as it's more. So that's how the first step you do, David, to run this thing and keep it on track. Because you're like running a railroad, and you want to run it as far as it can run during the year. Well, the first track you got to stay on is that recruiting track. And you're on track. It's not complicated. If it's more, you're a winner. You're a stud. You got your Super Bowl for that month because you're growing. You delivered for your team. Rising tide raises all boats. You got a positive environment in your base shop. And then the next, but see, all that's washed out if you go out there and then have a slump. And it could be a slump by one, or stall out. Really screw. You have the same number. That's just bungling it. You got to say, if I do my job, I'm going to steer this team, and we're going to have more growth. And if we don't do it, it ain't nobody's fault but me, because I'm in charge. This is my business. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Sam Walton didn't run around blaming his store in southern Idaho if the whole Walmarts didn't grow outlets for the year. It was his job. You see? So you take it, it's kind of like you have 12 games during the year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And every game, the first thing you want 3 wins, but you at least want the first win. Because if you don't get the first win, which is more recruits this month than the month before, well, you're doomed. Then you want to come in, you have no shot, And unless you go into triple overtime and kind of get your ship back on track right, as fast as you can, because if you don't recruit more people, see, most people say, that was a shame. You got to treat that like it's a 5-alarm emergency. Like it's not like, oh, it's a shame. No, it's like that's a panic. The town's burning down. I got to get out there. We got to go on midnight management. We got an emergency. We got a double time, triple time. We got to drop all the bombs. We got to have guest speakers in here, conference call. We got to launch a new contest. We got to go, 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 go. If that recruiting stalls out, because that's going to kill everything else. All right? And that's how you earn the right, by recruiting going up. See, if you drive the recruiting up here, you earn the right to now have your income go up. But if you're not good enough of a leader to drive your team to more recruits, David, you're not earning the right to make more money. Is that clear?
That's clear.
And so now then on the third step, and so that's what you want to do, is take it one step as you go through the month. So it's the idea, you want to set records every month in these 3 categories. Now the third thing is the follow-through, and that is, this is the training, management candidates. the winners, you want to have some winners. You want to lock in on the best and brightest and help that guy or that gal get it done, because you need them to win as much as they need to win, because you're going to need management help. You can't go month after month higher and not have more managers kick in and start, coming in behind you. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to get, you can't take more kids into the nursery if you don't have more nursery workers. So if you're not adding more people to your management staff, you're not going to be able to keep up, answer questions, monitor people. So everybody's going to keep up with somebody, and if there's not enough everybody's to keep up with somebody's, then you start losing them. You start falling back. And so that's why it's important to keep this coming along, growing every month, promoting more, so that your team grows and it can support bigger recruiting month, because this is your range. So you're growing your range. We talked about this thing, your maximum potential, and then the worst case scenario. So you're growing, you're growing this window. As you go up through here, you grow this window where the sales and the income will be somewhere in this tunnel that you create. And you force it up, Dave. You force income up by leading with recruiting, doing the training, the tryouts, and then helping, and you got to help them, helping the best and brightest win and get promoted. You got to identify the winners, challenge them, and then hang with them, because by their effort and that their potential, what they mean to you, you can't just treat them like, there's always on the team, you got players and stars. And if you got future stars, you got to give them a little preference, a little bit, extra time, because they're earning it. And it's important for you and them that they come through. And month after month, the most important thing to you, when you start the month, the most important thing is, I got to have more, I got to crank this thing up and get it off to the start, so I know 30 days from now we're going to have more recruits than we started. Then you're going to, once you got that cranked, you're going to go say, we got to put these people through the trial. We got to make sure we're doing a good job of doing the tryouts, and you see the premium, the sales, the income go up. The volume of business. But then the last thing is, you got to make sure that those managers are being promoted too, to follow through. And so that's how you do it. And those are the numbers that you monitor, however you monitor. But that's how you can know every day as you go through the year if you're tracking for success or you're tracking for mediocrity, because the recruiting track will tell you. If this recruiting track starts to go down here, it's just a matter of time before, this might go for a while, but pretty soon it's going to go over here, and then this is going to go. And if this continues to go down, it's going to drive down sales, and pretty soon your managers are going to start to disappear, because you're doing less recruiting. You got more people getting less recruits. Some of the weak ones are going to drop off, and now you got a real job of turning it around, and you're lucky if you get turned around by the end of the year. So this is how you control your income and your sales, by setting that track. And the first track you lay, if you got a railroad going, the first track is a recruiting track. Okay? The income follows that, and then you got your managers. Does that take the guesswork out of how you game plan, you business plan going through the year? Because before you can have a plan, you got to know, what do I monitor? What are my key economic indicators? If I go to a doctor, what happens when you go into a doctor? They want to know, what's your blood pressure, right? They might take your weight. They're going to take your pulse. And then they're going to go to symptoms, okay? Symptoms. What are symptoms? It's hard for me to spell and talk at the same time. See, this is like, you're recruiting. These are your three things there, and then this is your attitude. What are your symptoms? You're feeling good, you're healthy, or where is it? You're down. Well, let's get that fixed. Let's get these things back online. So you got to know what to monitor if you want to have a healthy and growing organization. George, got any comments?
Yeah, this is critically important, Larry. It's, this is the conversation you got to have with every new leader that gets produced that month. It's not good enough for you to understand this. It's good enough for that new leader to understand what you just explained so they can start their own growth wave happening.
Yeah, this is stuff we were talking about all the time, we never stop talking about it. This is full-timer meetings, manager meetings, and, this is just kind of like, because this is the core, and you want them to understand it because it's like their business development. This is like their MBA program, You're telling them behind-the-scenes principles that drive growth. David, you got a comment?
Yeah, I love the simplicity of it. It's the 3 indicators. You're looking at them during the month. You're looking at them during the year, and it gives you feedback. These numbers give you feedback. These are your indicators that are telling you if you're on track or not, and you can get right back on track when you see something dip. That's great.
Yeah, it puts you where you can control your business rather than have your business control you. And the mark of insanity and frustration and people, pulling their hair out is when they don't feel like they're controlling their business. And, happiness and power and confidence comes when you understand what's happening, you know what things you've got to make happen, and you're making them happen. And you could add other people onto your team and still keep your business going in the right direction because you know what to get them focused on doing, and you don't get sidetracked into just a whole bunch of training. Okay, thanks a lot, guys.